First of all, guys, thanks for being here on Saturday and listening to volleyball championships. But excited to be here and advance to the second. Well, I guess Sweet 16 now. UNLV was a very good team, undefeated. Western Kentucky, very good team, undefeated. So certainly got a battle ahead of us tomorrow night. I think we'll all be out of our comfort zone playing at 10 p.m. Fans might be out of their comfort zone being up that late, and maybe some new to watching volleyball. So should be an interesting Sunday evening, and looking forward to playing again.
All right, we'll go ahead and open the questions. If you have one, go ahead and use the raise hand features, and we'll start getting to them as many as we can. Go ahead, Larry.
Okay. Craig, you talk about being a little uncomfortable maybe at 10 o'clock. Tell me, how does the number 2 seed end up with the 10 p.m. game?
That's out of my area, not my area, Larry. I wish I could, ESPN and thankful that ESPN2 has picked up a couple of the regional matches, when they weren't initially. So I think to trying to accommodate time slots and all that type of stuff that we happen to land there, and it's just part of it. So it's been part of ever since the SEC network came into play, and started picking up a lot of sporting events. You got to be prepared to play at any time. So this is certainly no different.
Does that present a problem if you do win in advance as far as preparation for the next round then?
No, I don't think so. I mean, both teams, the winner of the previous match right before us, plays at the same time. We all have to focus on the current match. So, you're going to have limited preparation time. So we all have to, figure out how to do that and adjust. It'll be nice, to be honest, it would be nice throughout the tournament to have a day in between. I think that's the next step for volleyball and women's athletics is, having that day in between, to have some more preparation time.
Tim Letcher.
Greg, you guys are familiar with Western. You've played them in scrimmages, you've played them in postseason and things like that. Does that help or hurt in this particular situation?
People ask, what is it like to play Western, some from the same state. And, if Western, had only started getting good the last couple of years, it might be, but they've been really good for 25 years. So, I mean, Travis and their coaching staff do a great job. They have a somewhat simple system, but very effective system, and they run it really well. And, you just, it's just time to, make plays, and I think they'll feel the same way.
John Clay.
Yeah, Craig, I was going to ask kind of what Tim asked, but I'll follow up on that can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Coach Hudson and how, as Tim said, you guys have played in some exhibition matches. It seems like you try to help each other out. Can you just talk about that?
We've been friends for a long time, and, we share a lot, talk a lot of volleyball, and, just mutual respect for each other and each other's program. And, we've been on the phone numerous times over the years, talking volleyball and strategy and, stuff like that. So I think we know each other really well. They know our program and how we do things. We know theirs. And, but, he does it the right way. He works really hard as his players, work really hard. And, I think, when you don't have to coach effort and commitment and passion, you can focus on, the volleyball piece of it. And that has been instilled in their program for years.
Larry Vaught.
Greg, is there any particular player for them that kind of sticks out to you, worries you, concerns you, or anything?
Well, the two players that get the most points are Briggs and Matthews, and that's no secret to anybody. And so obviously you have to do a good job, figuring out how to defend them, but they do a really, outside of that, do a really good job of balancing, the net. So there are other players and Jackson and Eisenbarger and Davis. I mean, they all get involved, and the setter does a really good job of setting the right people at the right time and not just focusing on those two attackers. But interesting story, Eisenbarger's grandfather lived across the street from my best friend growing up in Muncie, Indiana. So we played basketball in Phil Eisenberger's driveway. So kind of a cool story for me to reminisce about the past.
Wow.
John Wong.
Greg, last time you were asked to choose between height and talent, you said you would pick talent every single time. You've harped a lot about the importance of experience with this team. If you were to choose between talent and experience, how would you go in that aspect?
Well, you have to have talent to be a baseline of talent to be good at anything. And so still choose talent. But, experience is a huge layer of icing on your cake to, help solidify, the package that you're trying to deliver, a product you're trying to deliver on, in the athletic arena. So the combination of the two helps. It's something we've felt like from the beginning of, last March 12th or whatever it was, that would be a benefit to us, that we do have skilled players, we do have talent, but, the experience is a bonus.
John Clay.
Craig, when you look back at the match the other night against UNLV, was there anything that stuck out to you that didn't stick out to you immediately after the match?
I think, UNLV was hard to prepare for because they run a 6-2 system, which means they have, 2 setters. And so you have a different type of offensive pattern you have to prepare for in each of the 6 rotations. So trying to instill a game plan with that many options in 24 hours is very difficult. And so there's a little bit of, nervous energy, like, how are we going to do? Are we prepared as like we normally are? And the feel wasn't like we were, but noticing after the match that Hayden had 19 of their 30 kills and the rest of the team had 11 kills, 7 airs, and hit 088, I think was something that very impressed with our team and how they adjusted to what was happening while game was being played and not necessarily relying on scouting reports. So that's probably the biggest thing that stuck out.
Larry Vaught.
First, Craig, I guess need to ask, everybody passed testing? You're going to have everybody available tomorrow night?
Yeah, we've had a few more false positives, and so a couple interesting 30 minutes of time here and there, but we are cleared as of noon Central Time on April 17th. Yes.
And you'll have to test again tomorrow morning?
Yes, sir.
So it'll be more anxious time?
My nose is raw. So.
Okay. And then talking about the match, Maddie Skinner played so well the first match. Is it reasonable to expect a freshman can do that again in NCAA play?
I mean, you're going back to John's comment. She's got a lot of talent, so she certainly has the ability to do it. And, I think that the nice thing that if we had to rely on her to be great every match to win, then it might be different pressure, but she knows that, she has great teammates around her and she can perform when called upon. And, but the spotlight isn't always on her. And she's done a really good job. There's some matches she hadn't gotten a whole lot of swings, and the other night she did get a lot of swings, and she's typically responded when distributed the ball by Madison. So she's in a good spot.
Thanks.
Tim Lesher.
Greg, the last time you guys played Western in the NCAA tournament, your current seniors were freshmen, and it was an epic comeback. Does that something they remember, or is that something that's been talked about as you guys lead up to this match?
I definitely remember playing in that match, and I mean, that was an exciting, big crowd and a lot of expectations, and it was a fun match to play in. Man, what a battle! It was just like I told Travis after that match, it really sucked that someone had to lose that match because I think both teams deserved an opportunity to advance. But I think the biggest factor that our seniors take from that is the respect factor that we have for Western and how they play the game. So I think that's probably the biggest takeaway, and something that we'll need to pull on from them to understand what we're up against.
John Wong.
Craig, for old guys, the late start time obviously is a little bit more of a challenge, but for the athletes, it really shouldn't matter, should it? If you had your preference, what time would you prefer to play?
I don't know, we've played at 11 a.m. Eastern this year. We've played at 2 p.m. Eastern this time. We played at 4, we've played at 7, we've played at 6, and so far so good, I guess. It doesn't matter. I mean, both teams have the same issue. Both teams probably have to schedule some naps and change their pregame meal time to 5 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. And, we just, the only thing, just said, hey guys, let's stay up late. Last night, stay up late past 11 and, sleep in and just get kind of used to your body rhythm of getting used to that schedule.
I guess with ESPN picking this game up, the trade-off is well worth it. How much does that mean to you to be on the network?
It's awesome. I think that our sport is an exciting sport to watch. It's you see the athleticism, the explosiveness, and I think the downside to our sport is not very many people understand the nuances of volleyball and what's happening and the rotations and siding out, and so the more opportunities that people see it, they get more comfortable of trying to explain the game to somebody else. And so for us to be on a national stage like this helps in that area. And I continue to say that our net being 7'4" and not the same height as the men's net is a huge advantage for our athletes to show what they can do in playing above the net. And so the more audience, the bigger audience, the more people will continue to watch in the future.
Anybody have anything else? Last call. Good deal. All right. Well, we appreciate it. We will send out information later today on the press conference tomorrow night, which actually may end up being early Monday morning, depending upon how long the match goes, but we'll send it out.
You guys all $5 if you're there at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we're gonna hold you to that.
Again,
right.
we'll do our best to work our way back from the facility to the hotel as quickly as we can so that we can get that match press conference started as quickly as possible. So